Hey y'all, this is Ale Thick Madame. I'm coming at y'all with a review slash recap of The Family Business, which is a TV show that is based off of a book that has been airing on BET. Y'all know that they were on hiatus for the holidays, so they just came back this week, and I saw it when it came out, but I've been busy and all that good stuff, y'all. So, but I'm here. I'm still doing the reviews on that. But let's get into it. So, what happened, y'all? So it comes on. Of course, it gave us a little recap of what happened last time. So it comes on, and Rio, which is the twin brother to Paris and Orlando, both of them are siblings. They were discussing some things. And, of course, as I've mentioned before, Rio has a business where he has a, nightclub, bar, whatever it is. I think it's a nightclub. And apparently, the different things that Orlando had been working on in his lab, one particular thing that he's been working on it for 5 years, and it was a drug that he named Heat. And it looks like a red piece of candy. And the twin brother, he ended up testing it out in his business in New York. And they have clubs that they visited and tested the product out in as well in Miami, and it went over well. And, they were discussing that. So, apparently it's going to be a very, very lucrative business because they're not going to have to go to other people and get product anymore. And they're going to be the ones that people are running to get the product. And, I'll get into, certain specifics in a few moments. So we go to the next scene and we see LC, who is the father, and he's getting a trim up and look like he got his, mustache trimmed up, his hair cut, all this other stuff. And so he's thanking the guy for doing this. Apparently he got the dude up early in the morning, spurred a moment. And, he was like, I really appreciate you doing this, whatever. And so he get a phone call. So then he's telling people in the family that are there with him, he was like, all right, y'all, we got to go to the hospital because he got a phone call. But the way he said it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm confused. Y'all think I got to get just a little bit wrong. He got a phone call after he got his hair cut, and the phone call said something about going to the hospital, and he was like, I'll be over there, but I got to handle something first. I think that's what he said. So I was like, oh, okay. Y'all, when I look away, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to leave, vital information out. So the next scene happens, and Paris is having sex with somebody, and then I'm like, I feel like I know who this person is. Y'all, it was the same dude who her family caught her with when she first came on the screen, when we first were introduced to her with this series. The guy who was in the, I guess, high-speed chase. And her brother, specifically Junior, doesn't want her to have anything to do with this guy. But I think she, likes him. I don't know if it's because of him being daring enough to go up against her family and sneak behind their back and deal with her or what. But yeah, I was like, okay. So anyway, they're having sex, and I guess they're on a yacht or on a boat or whatever. And, they finish, and, you hear this jet ski or something. And so he was like, I thought you said your brother ain't going to be back for a while. So she was like, well, I guess he's back now. And so it's like she gets a kick out of stuff like this. So make a long story short, the guy tried to sneak out, and the brother saw him. And he was like, I told you not to be around my sister. If I catch you with my sister again, I'm going to kill you or something like that. Pushed him in the water, y'all. Like, this is like a lake, a ocean, or whatever. Like, this is a big body of water that this man was pushed into. This was not a pool. So I'm just like, oh, my gosh, no. Junior be setting it off, y'all. Junior sets it off on, like, any show he on anyway. Okay. So the family gets to the hospital and they're in the waiting room, and I'm just like, okay, why y'all at the hospital? Like, the whole family was notified, everybody at the hospital, so what's going on? Okay, cool. They still don't tell us. So they end up telling, Orlando tells London's husband, which is Harris, tells him, tell Pop about what I told you. And so he was like, are you sure? I know this is your baby, whatever, whatever. And so he was like, no, you can tell him. So he ends up telling him about the product, which was heat, which is, the drug that he created. And he was, trying to go over the numbers and help him understand that they're going to be like billionaires, if everything works out the way that it really probably should and will or whatever. So the grandson, Nevada, he was there with them. Like, they don't hide nothing from this child. Like, unless he's just one of those people who looks super young, he was there and he's privy to everything that they discuss. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, y'all really be doing the most. So anyway, they let him basically go over the numbers, and I think Orlando had the specs, dealing with everything that's in the actual product. And, he was like, everything checks out, it basically would be the equivalent of somebody smoking weed, where people can take it, party all weekend, and go to work like nothing happened. And, there are no side effects to the point of where, I'm about to lose my teeth because I am smoking crack and I'm about to get hooked on this and I'm about to go sell anything and everybody and just literally anything I can get my hands on because I'm an addict now. Like, it's not anything remotely close to heroin, as they like to call it, crack and all the other stuff, but it's more akin to weed. So he was like, the specs look good on that, and he thinks that would sell. And at first he was like, look, I ain't trying to be here for that if it's gonna be like how crack is for people. But he was like, this is interesting, it's completely different, and this is something that, even though it's illegal, it's something that we can get by and actually do. Okay, so the next scene happens, and there's this random woman who is having sex with this man. And I'm like, okay, who is this getting it in? Because I don't, this person is not recognizable right at this moment, like, to me. Like, and, I come to find out she's not recognizable at all, so I was confused. So she's having sex with this man, and all of a sudden, she basically gets hers, and she proceeds to stab this man in the chest with like a screwdriver or something, and was like, Don Frederico sends his regards, while the man is, basically dying. And I was just like, what in the world? So then she get off of him and get dressed, and then she calls somebody. And so she confirms that she did her job, which was to kill that guy. And then she proceeds to act like she's at like a real, regular 9-to-5, talking about, so, have you heard anything back on my vacation time or something? She said. I was like, ma'am, like, we have to stop. You have to stop. I'm so tired. But anyway, the most happened in that moment. I was just like, wow, y'all doing the most. Okay. But anyway, the assignment was completed. That's all we really needed to know at that moment. So I was like, okay, y'all doing the most. So anyway, they end up going back to the scene where they're at the hospital, right? Y'all, why is London pregnant? I was just like, look, this is one of the few things that I dislike about this show, because literally one episode will happen, and then the next episode will come on, and something, you would think like a year passed by, like just like now, 9 months have randomly passed by, and she's pregnant. So as soon as they said that she was pregnant and was having the baby, and that's why they was at the hospital, I was like, who the baby by though? Is it by her husband, or is it by that man who she was screwing while her husband was doing the things he used to do? So y'all, I was like, what is going on? When did she get pregnant? I'm tired. Okay, so let's see what else happened. Oh Lord. They don't tell us any of that yet. So then they end up They're still in the waiting room, and while they're in the waiting room, Orlando gets a phone call. So he excuses himself and he goes outside. So, he's like, hello. And, he's like, Ruby, I know this is you. And, for those of you who have forgotten, because it's been a couple of weeks, Ruby is the escort that he paid to sleep with him, but he was intrigued by her from the moment he laid eyes on her, and he fell in love with her, and he actually ended up getting her pregnant. And before he even found out that bit of information, she skipped town. Yeah, y'all. So she would just hold the phone, right? And it's just like, he was like, Ruby, I know it's you. Just, talk to me. And so eventually she'd just hang up the phone. She would never say anything, right? Okay. So I'm just like, Lord. And they showing her big and pregnant. I'm like, Lord, she about to bust, pop, everything else any moment now. It's like really too much. Okay. So then they end up showing Junior calling Uncle Lou. Of course, Uncle Lou is LC's brother. Now, again, just in case y'all forgot, Uncle Lou got shot. Something terrible. The last time we saw him on the screen. So I'm just looking like, oh no, I don't think he made it. When I saw the last episode, I was like, I don't think he's going to make it from this. So they kept, panning every now and again throughout the show. They panned to the location where his body is, and he's obviously dead. If he's not dead, I don't know how in the world he's going to survive this. But anyway, Junior's trying to call him. He's been trying to get in contact with him because he was supposed to go fishing with him that morning. And so, he's not answering his phone and all this other stuff. So, it's like, I'm not going to panic just yet. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting from him. So, he just, from time to time, he keeps calling him and, he gets no answer. So, try to figure out what's going on with Uncle Lou, y'all. So, right when he got off the phone, and my bad, y'all, I was supposed to research this because I don't know how I forgot her name. When he got off the phone, he saw this nurse. And, he tried to shoot his shot with her. And, she was, kind of here for it. And then Paris came out of nowhere. Paris is his sister. And so, she immediately kind of felt slighted, like, oh, well, you need to, go ahead and get your girlfriend. You need to go ahead and talk to your girlfriend over there. And so he was like, that's not my girlfriend. That's my sister. So I was like, Lord, y'all doing the most. And so, she was here for it, and she kind of like twitched and switched and all that stuff on out the room, right? And I was just like, oh, Lord. So he was like, yeah, you had the worst time. And so he was, trying to roll all the way up on her. So, okay, y'all, this is my thing. This is not a complaint. This is not shade. This is not anything negative at all. My thing is this. I don't know why, but I guess it has mostly or basically everything to do with Hollywood. But this particular actress in particular, I don't know why I didn't look her name up before I did this video. I meant to, but I wanted to go on ahead and do this video and knock it out because I was just going to keep dragging my feet. But anyway, she is an amazing actress. I have seen her for years and years and years. And in a way, I think in more recent years, they have been trying to use her in a way where she's actually seen as the beautiful, big black woman. You know what I'm saying? But the thing I don't like about it is that it seems like she is the token big black woman, even though she's not, big, like the kind of big that I am, I guess. If that makes any sense. But I think she's an amazing actress and she's very hilarious. But I know for a fact that before, a role like this and a couple of other roles that she did, anytime you saw her in something, they were using her as the typical, oh, she a big black woman and she's saying something that is supposed to be funny and witty because it's a way to laugh and essentially laugh at her. And also they would use her, in my opinion, now these are all my opinions. I felt like they were using her in a way to be like, okay, look. And even now, I feel like they're using her as, like I said, she's a big black woman. You know what I'm saying? She ain't as big as me, but she is classified as a BBW. I feel like since her shape is so flattering, she barely has a stomach, and she has all this booty, she has all this breasts, all natural, beautiful face, nice hair, nice smile. Like everything about her is, in my opinion, is gorgeous. Skin tone, all that is gorgeous. I feel like they use her to be like, okay, if we're gonna have a big black woman, they need to look like her. They can't be big and sloppy and, you know, on the level of what, you know, I guess people like, I guess if you want to think of anybody that people know of, in essence, I guess somebody that looks like Monique or looked like her. Nobody's trying to check for her. Nobody's trying to roll up on her, like in the perfect world that they're trying to create on these TV screens. So it's like, you know, in a way, on one side, I'm like, yes, I'm here for it because I like this woman, this particular actress. But on the other hand, I'm like, dang, they using her. But in a way, I'm kind of like, well, dang, I'm glad she's getting a good check and she knows her worth and she is everything, like I said. But I just hate the way that they use people like her. And like I said, mainly her, whenever they're having a black woman that has curvature, as I want to say, all these curves, she has dangerous curves. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about, y'all need to look her up. She's everything. If I can, I'm gonna try to put her name in this video somehow. But she is everything. But I just feel like they use her to be like, okay, if we're gonna have something that's considered to be a big black woman, it's gonna be her. And she is everything. But I just hate that the portrayal of what a big black woman looks like is only focused on somebody that looks like basically exactly like her. And the Ashley, what's her name? Ashley, I forgot her name, that model. It's their body types that they consider to be fat. You know what I'm saying? The almost halfway acceptable size that an audience will live for. So I'm sorry, I had to go on a little rant because I'm 50-50 on that situation, but I love her. I love her in this character. I love it. She's everything. But Junior is here for her, and he tried to roll up, y'all. Yeah. Okay, y'all, so I forgot to mention that in the scene previous to this, when we found out that London had a baby and it was a baby girl, she is in her room acting like she has like severe postpartum. Like she just said it all. She was like, I just want everybody to leave me alone. Like she just went all the way out. Like everybody's being like super duper sensitive to her because she literally just gave birth. But she like is setting it all the way off. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. She was like, I just wish everybody would leave me alone. I just wish everybody would just go. And I was just like, oh my gosh, ma'am, y'all. Okay, anyway. I just had to make sure I made that correction. Okay, so anyway, Junior and Orlando, who, you know, are siblings as well, they are outside and they're discussing their own personal, you know, situations, like kind of like what's going on with you right now. And so, you know, of course, Junior is like, you know, I've been calling Uncle Lou and he ain't been answering his phone. We're supposed to go fishing this morning and, you know, he ain't calling me back. He ain't answering his phone. And so then Orlando goes into details, well, slightly, about how he keeps getting phone calls from Ruby and he knows it's her and all this other stuff. Y'all, so they get interrupted by their cousin. And I don't know why, I can't remember what his name is, but he irks my soul anyway in real life because he's just trash in real life. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. I used to live for him when he was on It's a Different World, playing as Shaza. I used to live for him just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. But if you don't know, y'all need to go look up what he has done in recent years, you know, in his personal life, I guess, if you want to say that. But yeah, he's extra. I can't do it. I ain't got time. I think he was beating his wife. He was doing something, y'all. He did the most. But anyway, he called himself sneaking up on them and, you know, doing the little dapping up and like, hey, what's up, blah, 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 stuff. And so they end up asking him, are you going to take up, are you going to take the offer that my dad, presented to you about, being legit and actually, working for the family with their actual car business? And so he was like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Okay, whatever, y'all. Anyway, I can't. So then they end up so I think Ruby called him back, or either some kind of way Ruby and Orlando are on the phone together, and so she confirms that it is her on the phone or whatever. And so he was like, where are you? I miss you, I've been worried about you, and all this other stuff. And so I guess she thought he didn't know she was pregnant, but he, of course, he's a donkey, he knew. And so he basically said what he said, and so she was like, oh, you knew? He was like, of course I know. All this other stuff. And so, he was like, I want us to be a family, I love you, and all this other stuff. And so she was like, I can't do that, I'm gonna marry Vinny. And so he was like, Vinny? I know you ain't talking about Vinny Dash. And so she, confirmed that that's who she's gonna get married to. And just in case you forgot who that was, that's that man's son, that man who LC had to kill. They had to kill him because he was just trifling. He was sitting up here double-crossing folks. When I tell you, somebody who was setting it off on the left and setting it off on the right, that fool did the absolute most. He was double-crossing and double-crossing. I'm just like, how do you find the time to keep up with all the stuff? Like, he was so grimy. Like, he deserved to die. He had to. He deserved that, y'all. So anyway. He's that man who got killed. Elsie had to kill him. I think they ended up cutting his head off and all this other stuff. Y'all, it was the most had to happen to him. Y'all, and so anyway, she said she's going to get married to him. And so he was like, what you mean? I ain't finna have another man raising my baby. I'll kill him and your brother before I let that happen and all this other stuff. So ended up getting off the phone. And y'all, it was just, that situation is really too much. I was like, Lord, he done set it off over the children. We ain't gonna raise his baby. Oh, Lord. Okay, so we finally get down to the reason why Vinny was rescued in the first place by these, I guess, Jamaicans. I was very confused. I was just like, I don't understand why these random Jamaicans came out of nowhere and saved you, of all people. Y'all, Ruby is getting married to Vinny. Ruby's brother is Jamaican or whatever he's supposed to be, who is played by Malik Yoba. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Malik Yoba is everything. Malik Yoba is everything. That man gets better with time. I don't know what in the world he be doing, but he need to let a whole lot of people, whether they young or old, understand and know what the secret is, because he is everything. He has always been everything. Lord, y'all, I used to watch New York Undercover. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Y'all, I'm sorry. But anyway, he is playing her brother in this TV show. And y'all, it's just too much. He doing the most with his accent. I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, you need to focus on marrying your husband. Who are you on the phone with? He found out that she was on the phone with Orlando Duncan. And he was like, what he talking about and all this other stuff. And so, whatever. Y'all, Vinny's right there. And, she was like, I love him. I'm going to be with him. Talking about Vinny. And I'm just like, Lord, I don't understand, y'all. I'm so tired. I don't even understand. I don't understand that wannabe union. Like, it's dumb. She got a baby by a whole nother dude, and she was just an escort yesterday. So it's like, what are you marrying her for? I'm so confused, y'all. So anyway, she's trying to reassure him that she want to be here with him and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, no. So, the brother is basically like telling her, you need to stop worrying about him, and you need to start worrying about your actual man, Benny, and all this other stuff, y'all. Anyway, so Orlando and the cousin, the man I told y'all I can't stand, I can never think of how to say his name. like I think it's his last name that throws me off. Start with a D. But anyway, they end up rolling up to this house, mansion, whatever you want to call it. And it's like these people who are Spanish speaking. I don't want to say, oh, Mexican, and they're not Mexican. So that's why I'm the type of person, I say Spanish speaking. So that I can, if it wasn't specified to me, I just say Spanish speaking. So anyway, there is a group of Spanish speaking people at this place. And so Orlando and the cousin roll up and they get patted down immediately, and, they were allowed to come inside. So they come inside, and before they come inside, before they even got patted down, Orlando had to tell the cousin, look, you need to act like you don't know how to speak Spanish. And so, he looking like, what? He was like, yeah, you need to play dumb and act like you don't know how to speak Spanish because, that's just something that their father taught them to do. Let the enemy think that you don't, let the enemy or let whoever think that they have the upper hand while they over here having these side conversations and you fully understand what's going on. So you do what you do. So they patted them down, let them go inside. So long story short, they ended up giving them a duffel bag full of product as a gift to let them know, we're trying to have this business and, this is a gift. And the amount of product that they gave them equaled up to $500,000 worth of product. And so they end up, this one guy and another guy, they were having like a little side conversation, speaking in Spanish, trying to decide whether or not they're going to accept it. They eventually do. And so they were trying to say, well, since you bring in gifts, we got gifts for you. And so they brought out like 5, 6, 7, 8 women and, whatever. So they go to another scene. And let's see. The twins ended up meeting up with Junior. And so Junior again asked them, have you seen Uncle Lou? And so they was like, no. But Paris immediately is like, but I got a surprise for you. So he was like, what kind of surprise you got for me? So come to find out, she was able to get the number of nurse Tanya. That's her name. But that's her character's name. I think she said her name was Tanya. Get nurse Tanya's phone number and gave it to him. And she told her to tell him to call her tonight. So he was like, I think I might go ahead and do that. Go ahead and surprise her with a phone call from me. So I was like, Lord. Like, he was cheesing. I was like, oh my God, he was so happy. Y'all, so the mysterious woman pops up again. The woman who I want to call Black Widow. I want to call her Black Widow. I don't know. But, she's appearing to be seducing yet another victim. But we soon find out that this is a role play type situation that she was having with her lover. And they were having fun and they were about to really get started and start having sex. And he got a phone call. He had her tied up and all this other stuff. He was, trying to spank her. But anyway, she was like, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, why is she telling this man she going to kill him? But then, like I said, we find out that they're role playing. So he get a phone call, and the phone call is basically like, it alludes to the fact that he needs to go to L.A. So he got off the phone with her and was like, yeah, we got to cut this short. And, I got to get ready. I got to go back to L.A. And so she's like legit mad. And like for the past few days or weeks or however long it's been, they've been having rough, wild sex. And, she is like for real mad. I was just like, dang, you mad. Why are you so mad? But she like got mad and, we said their goodbyes. And so she was like for real mad. Y'all, so the next scene, they go to showing us Orlando and the cousin are still at the mansion. And you can tell that like there's a time lapse. I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? So, the cousin, tried to roll up on him. He stepped away from the group of ladies. Orlando's getting like a random shoulder massage from like 2 ladies. He ain't really entertain them because he still loves Ruby. He ain't here for that mess. And, he was like, what we doing? And, he was like, what you think about it? Basically trying to ask him what he think about the atmosphere. He was like, this ain't nothing but a distraction. And, and that's what it turned out to be. It was a distraction while they go and figure out if the product is legit, if it's going to do what it's supposed to do and all this other stuff. And all this time, like, I guess hours passed by. And, the guys ended up coming back and they were like, everything checks out. You know what I'm saying? We're willing to, do what we need to do. But your family's going to have to do what they need to do and sit down with a key player. And, somebody high up there ends up being who? Alejandro. We already discussed Alejandro. We thinking that this finna be, over. But no, since he's up there and the Duncans want dealings with the cartel because they have such amazing connections, you know what I'm saying, and different people, like the different people within their connections, it's vital for you to be friends and, have some kind of business relationship with somebody like that. So, apparently he is the one. So he looking like, man, we got bad blood, I don't know how this gonna work out. And so he was like, well, we gonna arrange a meeting for y'all, and y'all gonna have to do something if y'all want us to, really be all the way in like that. So, y'all, I was like, Lord, I'm tired. And, he, had to explain to them, like, it was just too much happened in order for them to just move past it. Y'all, so the next scene, of course, ends up being Alejandro, his wife, and then essentially the people who were the go-between that were gonna, try to eventually, come to him with the information about, hey, you need to meet up with the Duncans so we could discuss something. So the wife, as I've seen in the past, she's doing all the talking, and she was like, we ain't trying to have no dealings with them. They killed our son. Like, she's still all on that. And she was like, I don't care who they tried to say killed our son. We know they killed our son, all this other stuff, whatever. So the dude was like, look, y'all gonna have to do something because they got this product, and this product is everything, and you are gonna want to have and want a piece of this pie. So you need to get up out your feelings and get up on this deal. So, I was just like, Lord, I wish the wife would shut up. Like, she kept talking. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't care what you're talking about. Like, you're doing the most. Lord, y'all. So, again, like I said, he's a major piece of the puzzle, and he ended up agreeing to the meetup. Okay, cool. So, y'all, they end up going back to, y'all don't even want to know what his real name is on the show. What the brother's name is on the show. The Ruby's brother. Y'all, Malik Yoba. Malik Yoba ended up outside in a backyard, I guess, of his house or wherever they were meeting at, y'all. And they were like, yeah. He was talking to Vinny. And so it's funny because they were literally in the middle of one of his people burying some dude. And, they were talking about his sister and, really having a full-on normal conversation while a dead body is wrapped up in front of them about to be buried. So Malik Yoba was like, you need to make that hole deeper. Y'all, come to find out, the dude was like, yeah, I'm done. He trying to get up out the hole, and he reached his hand up thinking that Vinny or Malik Yoba gonna help him out the hole. They was like, no. Vinny said it all. You been stealing money from him. And I'm like, what? What is going on here? Man, he pointed the gun at that dude. Malik Yoba got tired. He didn't want to hear nothing else the boy had to say. It killed him. So I guess a whole nother person going to have to come out there and cover him and the other dead body up because Malik Yoba killed him. I was like, Lord, you doing the most, Malik. But I'm here for it. So Junior ends up meeting with his parents, and he's like, what's going on? Have y'all heard from Uncle Lou? And so they were like, no. And so he was like, well, the same thing he been saying all day. Look, I've been trying to call him. He ain't answering the phone. So LC is like, that ain't like my brother. So he was like, well, did y'all try to ping the phone? And it was like, yeah, that's the thing, we tried. And, we're not getting anything. So everybody looking like, what's going on here? Y'all. So I was tired. So then, I don't even know how to feel because I think it's just the way Paris dresses or something. Man, the next scene is really within the same scene, and they have Paris and her twin brother, Rio, in the bed, like kind of having girl talk, so to speak. And they're like, oh, what's going on with you? And, Paris is excited about the guy who is Christian Key's character, and of what their situation might turn into. And so Rio is like, well, I ain't have nothing. I haven't had anything going on in so long or whatever. So he kind of envious of her situation. So then, Nevada comes in the room and he was like, y'all, grandpa and grandma said you need to get ready, put some clothes on, whatever, and all this other stuff. Or whatever happened. They ended up having to go out the room. And, I guess they were made aware of the situation, which is Uncle Lou not, still not being able to be reached. So then they ended up going to the car showroom. They open up the little thing, and of course Paris roll up. She got her gun out. Everybody got their guns out, spreading out. They see a dead body. Okay. Paris, of course, discovers her uncle, and she was like, Daddy? Her daddy came from somewhere, and, he was like, no. I was like, Lord, don't nobody have time for this foolishness. So they discover his body, and, I don't know. Like I've said before on another show, until I see the funeral happen, I don't know if he all the way dead or if he's just has shallow breathing at this point. He might be able to be saved. I don't know. We ain't seen him buried. We ain't seen him in with a toe tag on. So I don't know. So at this point, he is presumed to be dead. And what was I gonna tell y'all? Oh my gosh, I was gonna give y'all my opinion of where something in particular was gonna go. I don't even remember what it was, y'all. But anyway, that was the review, recap, or whatever you want to call it, of The Family Business. So I hope y'all liked it. Go ahead, comment, like it. Go ahead and subscribe if you already aren't subscribed. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about this show. If not, I'm sorry. Anyway, I hope y'all have a nice evening, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.